Never invest more than you're willing to lose because this market is very volatile and you risk losing all your money. Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video we're gonna be serious for a moment, right? We're gonna look at more of the macro environment. We're gonna try to articulate as to why we're so bearish at the moment, and trying to sort of hammer that point home that you need to go away and you need to look at like the bigger picture, because it's interesting that I see today, when we've had a pullback in the market, some of these other influencers that are being adamant that there's 7 or 8 indicators starting to flip bearish all of a sudden, now that they're starting to realize that actually there's a real high probability that we're going to start to see lower lows. Now, I don't think that's going to happen immediately. I think we're going to have a bit of a bumpy road, but I really want to use this video to sort of articulate as best I can, as to why we should expect this and why it's, probable that it's likely to happen. Now, nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. But this gives us a lot of indication as to where we're heading. And, if you're bullish on crypto like Nick and myself and many others in the space, then this is going to be a beautiful opportunity, a once in a lifetime opportunity to build generational level wealth. And that's why I keep trying to hammer it home that you should go do the research and look at the bigger picture. So I hope you enjoy today's video and you get some sort of value from it. If you do, then mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Now, it's going to be longer than the usual ones. I will timestamp it so you can skip ahead if you wish to. So let's get down to the desktop. Okay, so we're going to start on coin market cap. I really do like to start here, give a bit of a market overview. Now, total market cap of crypto is down 5.82% at the time of recording. Now, there's going to be a few hours between me recording this and it going out, so that might fluctuate a little bit. But we're now at $939.44 billion total market cap. Now, if I go back almost 2 years now, when we first started the channel, I think the market cap was between 500 billion and 650 billion roughly, right? Could we start to get down into those sorts of areas again? I think it's quite possible, and that's quite a worrying thing, right? And I'm going to get into why I think the market has pulled back most recently, as in like the last 24 hours, and that there's other things going on around the world which I've touched on, but we're going to go through some of the articles. And do let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments below. Interested to kind of get your views and opinions. And yeah, it really does start to build up a bit of a debate, and I really do like that. So let's keep it all constructive. So let's talk about why we think that the market has pulled back like it has in the last 24 hours. Now, for me, I think it's a lot to do with the energy crisis that we're seeing in Europe, and I sort of touched on it a little bit yesterday, before the market started to pull back, which was rather interesting. So Europe power firms need 1.5 trillion euros in margin calls. So the likelihood is that they're going to get bailed out. It's what the governments over here tend to do. When a private company suffers or messes up, they normally just get bailed out, and we end up like, I'd like to say, like it's a double spend, because you're paying for all your bills, but then you pay for it again when they mess up in your taxes. But ultimately, there's some real big issues when it comes to the energy companies in Europe. Now, a lot of this, and we'll come on to it in a moment, is because Russia are halting the supply of gas, for example. So lots going on, and there's going to be huge ramifications of this, not just in Europe and the UK, who are probably going to get hit first with a lot of this, but there is going to be like a bit of a domino effect, in my opinion. So the US, I kind of feels a little bit sheltered at the moment with like the value of the dollar. However, I don't think that's going to last too long. So this here is basically another article that I wanted to cover off. The Fed wants you to lose money in stocks and probably crypto too. Monetary policy works through financial conditions, including equities and crypto. I guess is a a mechanism in there as well, which can be highly correlated with the equity market, which we've kind of been seeing quite a lot. Now, basically, what this article is trying to tell us here is that things are still rosy, and whilst they are, they're going to use the tools that are there to basically push the agenda that they're looking for and sort of get control again. Now, they're going to likely do that through inflation and interest rates, right? So these are things that we should be keeping an eye on. I think they've been quite transparent actually about the fact that we should expect further pain. Now, what does that look like and how painful is it? But ultimately, I think people that are left holding the bag, particularly in crypto, are going to be the ones that potentially lose out. So my plea here is for you to go and research more than just the crypto projects. Now, this is a plea for me to go, to get you to go do that research and make your own investment decisions, because none of this is financial advice. It's just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, but you should perhaps at this stage, if you've got quite a lot of money in crypto or other investment instruments, you should probably seek that financial guidance from a financial advisor. And I think that's my plea here, is to actually look at the bigger picture. I am finding it really interesting how all these indicators are now out of sight, not being talked about, now that we've had a further pullback, and it's becoming more and more clear for people that it's high potential that we're going to see lower lows. So yeah, an interesting one. Again, I'll link all of these articles in the Discord. Moving on, and we've got KPMG predicting that crypto slows down for the remainder of 2022. I think this is likely. I'm completely aligned to all of this with everything that's happening around the world. It doesn't surprise me that we're seeing analytic firms come out and suggest this. What does this really mean? For me, as somebody that is really bullish on crypto, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. I think this could be that final opportunity, that big transfer of wealth that I think is going to happen. Just think about this, right? When we had all these big institutional players getting in the bull market, they're going to be getting in heavy, when it bottoms out and things start to turn. So keep an eye on all of this stuff, read through it in our Discord, link is in the description, absolutely free to join. And just make sure that you're keeping an eye on all these things that are happening around the world. I think it's really important. So I probably should have covered this earlier, but Russia cuts off gas supplies to Europe, and this is basically going to cause huge ramifications for Europe, the UK, and the world. And it's adding, I guess, to I kind of feel like household disposable income, and that's something that I'll come on to in a moment, because particularly in the UK, you're either going to get hit immediately with big bills, and potentially there's going to be people that can't feed their kids, can't warm up their house, they can't keep the lights on for their businesses, they can't afford to pay staff. All of this stuff is what's potentially going to be a consequence of what Russia is doing here, as well as everything else, right? It's like it's compounding the situation, all of this stuff. So just going onto the UK side of things, Liz Truss, it's almost like they're just giving anybody the opportunity to run the country. Let's not get into the politics aspect of things, but basically what is being suggested here is, rather than having and this was a concern for me, having I guess the gas, the electricity, the energy prices double again in October in the UK, and then I think they were going to double it again in January. It looks like they're going to cap the energy prices. At least that's what's being proposed here. But you know what that means? That means that basically we're all going to be paying it in taxes, whether tax goes up or we're going to be paying for it some other way. And that's really interesting, particularly when you look at the profits that these energy companies are making. Maybe the energy companies should take a bit of the brunt on the actual cost, because they're still paying out billions of dollars in bonuses to some of the execs. So interesting stuff. I think it's probably better to do it that way, because at least businesses and the economy might not suffer so much. However, how many years are you going to be paying for this, and how long is this war with Russia and Ukraine going to continue for? So, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on these things. Really interested to get your views and opinions. I know we're sort of touching a little bit on politics here, but all of this stuff has a big bearing on the price of cryptocurrency. So, we've got to look at this stuff, and some of the stuff isn't really being covered in the media as much as it perhaps should be. One of those things is the China mortgage boycotts, the property crisis that they've got over there. Hundreds of thousands of people say they won't pay their mortgages over there. This is an old article from the 19th of August, which is me trying to demonstrate that there hasn't really been any updates on this, right? There's big issues. There's multi-billionaires losing half of their fortune over in the Asia part of the world through property issues in China. So this again, it could be a bit of a domino effect. The other things to mention over in China is the concern particularly that I've got around supply chain, because they've had a heat wave over there and factories have been shutting down and all that sort of stuff. What sort of knock-on effect is that going to have on supply chain prices? Again, this is for me like a compounding situation. You have the energy crisis, you have supply chains slowing down, meaning that some companies are not going to be able to fulfill some of their jobs. Some of the products are going to become more expensive, although you've already got inflation and everything else going on. Because the supply isn't there to meet the demand. So lots of things going on around the world that I think are really important to basically keep an eye on, right? Now I've already kind of said that I think the energy crisis in Europe is the main reason why we've seen the tumble when it comes to cryptocurrency in the last 24 hours. However, there is other stuff going on purely around cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin. And, there could be a fear of, well, I guess there already is a fear of massive capitulation. And basically what we're getting to when I kind of get to my point here with this is basically that minor capitulation is to do with the profitability of mining Bitcoin, right? So as the price comes down and energy prices go up, it becomes an issue, right? Like you're mining Bitcoin and it's costing you rather than you making a profit. And you can see this in some of the data with the amount that they're transferring to exchanges and selling. The other thing is that, you're going to start to see these minor operations start to close down. Maybe an opportunity for big mining operations to potentially, acquire other smaller mining operations. But again, when this happens, again, it's more issues in the space. Now, I do want to talk about this particular article. What I'll do is I'll just change the screen dimensions. Let me just do this here so you can see it better. There we go. So you can see that better. So this basically is a chart or a forecast around the real household disposable income per person. And I thought it was really, really interesting to highlight, because I don't see other crypto influencers talking about how it's forecasted and what to expect, right? So you can see it's glaringly obvious here, but basically it's going to come down. It's forecasted to come down in 2023, a little bit further down in 2024, and recover 2025, 2026. So I think this is something to be really conscious of. What I'm trying to articulate here, probably quite poorly, is that people aren't going to have disposable income to invest in cryptocurrency and other investment instruments. So as we go through this forecast, if it's accurate, time will tell. We will see less disposable income available, meaning that there's less demand for purchasing crypto. Again, it's just another concern that I've got that I feel is worth highlighting to people in the space. This is going to be all lined up and forecast based on what we see in the real world, all these things that are happening, the energy crisis, the wars, all this stuff is going to be impacting where we go. And for influencers saying that who's going to be selling their Bitcoin at 12, 14 or 16k, well, it'd be people that need to feed their kids, turn on their heating and warm up their houses in the winter months, and the business owners that need to keep those lights on, and keep the staff in employment, right? It sounds really, really negative, but the silver lining is, if you're prepared for it and you're ready, then there's ample opportunity to increase your holdings and build that generational level wealth that we talk about. Probably the biggest opportunity that we're going to see in our lifetimes moving forward. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on everything that I've covered in today's video. Really sorry that it's really negative, and we're not going to see like loads of bullish sort of momentum in the market. However, like I say, this is all opportunity. This is time to be reviewing, educating yourselves, learning about the different projects in the space. This is about spending the time, being switched on in the space, watching the projects that you're invested in, if you're still invested in them, making sure that they stick to their roadmaps and they don't do a runner, that sort of stuff. So really important, biggest opportunity in our lifetimes, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.